Talk to me about this push by the government and also comments amplifying the statement put out by our Prime Minister, by Penny Wong, where she says a planned Israeli ground offensive in the southern Gaza city of Rafah would be, in her words, unjustifiable. It feels to me now that Labor's left faction are really pushing their authority here.
Yeah, I think that's right, Peter. There's several elements of this statement are disappointing. The first is the government's own position is that Hamas can have no future role in the governance of Gaza. Yet, if Israel leaves Rafah alone, Hamas controls the territory there and all its leaders are apparently hiding out in tunnels there, and Hamas remains in power. Well, that's a tremendous victory for Hamas, notwithstanding all the terrible destruction. I don't mind the government calling for increased humanitarian assistance to the civilians in Gaza. Every human heart in the world wants better conditions for the people in Gaza, and Israel certainly has to be careful how it conducts this operation. But Israel cannot complete the defeat of Hamas if it doesn't take Rafah. And the final thing is, I noticed this increasing trend of the Albanese government to make common cause with what is really a left Liberal government in Canada and still a sort of neutralist, vague kind of strategically uncertain government in New Zealand. We see fewer and fewer joint statements between the United States, Canberra and London, the AUKUS partners, and more statements amongst what you might call the weak siblings, Canada, New Zealand and Australia. I think that's a bad trend. Generally, I think the government has tried to shelter in Joe Biden's position. Whatever position Biden takes, Albanese tends to take. In this case, I think they've gone further than Biden, and that's because of the pressure from their own left and their fear of the Greens in the inner city seats.
Just quickly, 2 years on today since Russia invaded Ukraine. I mean, is there any end in sight?
Well, I wish the American Congress would free up the $60 billion in aid to the Ukrainians. Biden has given Ukraine just enough aid not to lose, but never enough aid to win. I'm very disappointed that the Republicans are preventing that aid from going through Congress to Ukraine. Ukraine isn't asking an allied nation to sacrifice a single soldier. It's fighting for its own national freedom, has every right to do that. And really, if the West cannot support Ukraine in this circumstance, they are short of ammunition, they're short of helicopters. God alone knows why we buried our helicopters in the sand instead of giving them to Ukraine to use. And mind you, if America doesn't give this aid, the Europeans, whose total economy is bigger than America's, they should supply Ukraine with everything it needs. They've had a big naval success, the Ukrainians, just lately with drones. Of course, we don't have any armed drones ourselves. But having said all that, Russia's power to endure is still very strong. This is going to grind on, I think, for a considerable tragic time yet.
Greg, thank you.